what we're gonna do is we're gonna go get a 19mm to put on this baby, but let's give ourselves some room. Let's take this reservoir, let's put it to the side. Do not put it on this little guy. It's nice and hot. Okay, that thing will burn you, melt your reservoir there. Anyways, let's put a wrench on this and remove this belt, and then we'll spin this. We'll spin the water pump. We'll spin the alternator. Most likely, and the AC compressor and the alternator, and one of them has to be making noise. So we pinpointed this little pulley right here, this idler pulley on the tensioner. The tensioner pulley is the issue. So let's see if that is the issue. Yes, it's a kind of tough place to work at, but here it is. Okay, I mentioned 19, but it's really a 17. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put the 17 on, and you're gonna pull it towards you just like that, and you should be able to take off this belt just like that. Okay, so that's how you're gonna remove the belt. After that, I'm gonna do a full video on whatever the repair here is. Hopefully it's the tensioner, because I did priorly order a tensioner for this. So the belt comes off, and now what we're gonna do is let's take our camera from right here. Let's take our light also. So let's spin the alternator. No sound. Let's spin. Compressor is very common. The bearing on the compressor pulley. Okay, no sound there. Water pump, no sound. So we're down to this little guy. Crank pulley usually never makes a noise, but this guy, let's see if I can put my hands on this guy. You see that? Look at that. Definitely the tensioner is bad. So we're gonna do a full video on how to replace this tensioner. So stay tuned for my next video, which I will edit to this video, taking off the belt, putting on the belt, new tensioner, everything, get rid of the noise. So if you hear noise from the alternator, it'll be alternator. So that's how you're gonna pretty much diagnose your vehicle. Okay, look at that. This pulley, it even have a wobble to it. Look at this. It even got a wobble to it. Okay, so stay tuned for a full video, and we just diagnosed a noise from this engine just by using this little pipe, and that's how we diagnosed the noise coming from this little guy. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching this video. Stay tuned for the next video. So to replace this tensioner on this Accord, what we're gonna need is tools. We got a long 3/8 drive ratchet. We got an 8mm Allen, which is gonna fit on the bolt that's sitting right over here, and then we got a 12mm, which is all the way in the bottom. So it is kind of tight spot. So let's see if we can manage to do this job. So what I want to do is, to start off, I want to take off that 12mm first. So let's see if I can reach from right down here. Okay, so from right here. If this doesn't work, you can use a wrench or socket. So sometimes things will get complicated at a certain angle. So I should be able to take this guy off. Okay, this is gonna keep giving me trouble. So at least you guys get to see what I'm taking off. So I might switch up to speed up my work with a socket. Okay, instead of a socket, I decided to just go on with this and just try to manage it a little bit off the camera if I need to. And okay, let's see if I can get a good grip on it. Okay, it does give me a good grip, but see the tensioner, the hydraulic is not gonna let it turn because it blocks the pathway of the wrench. Let me give it a shot over here. Okay, maybe both hands would be helpful. Let's see if I can leave my camera here and give it a try with both hands. There it is. There it is. Yep. Got a good. Oh yeah, that baby was tight. So even these hydraulics would fail over time. So you never know when you gotta do what. So it is kind of jamming up now. Yep, it's jamming up. Yep, it has. The bolt is kind of crappy. The housing might be rusted internally, so it'd be a good idea to go back, turn it back, put some WD-40 in the center. But let's see if we can manage to get this baby off. Alloy is always trouble, so what I want to do is I want to spray some WD-40 on this guy. Sometimes you think job is going to be easy and it turns out to be crappy. Okay, from the back hole, do the same thing. There's a hole in the back end. Spray that baby in. So what I want to do now is, since the job has gotten complicated, so we're going to go back. We're going to tighten it back in now to give it that smoothness with the lubrication, if it works out for us. Okay, let's see. Okay, my glove just got caught. So it's going back in smooth, but it stopped as it was coming out. So those are the issues that we always run into as a mechanic. Look at that. It's beautiful. Right here it's beautiful. It's going in beautiful. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back out now. One more time. Let's give it a second attempt. Okay, once it comes to that point, it gets rough again, but it's moving now. Yep, it's moving. Cannot turn it by hand, but it's coming out. It's free. It's pretty free now, so it's pretty much out. I should be able to turn it by hand now because the wrench is just taking it back and forth. There you go. There's our 12 millimeter. Okay, it looks pretty good. Now it's time for the magic work. Now it's gonna be hard to see, but whoops. What's our second light? I mean, super bright. So make sure this is on off. Yep, we're on off. So let's get this wrench in there. And make sure you get it in there really good, because you don't want to be just going stripping that guy. Once it strips, it's over. Good luck. Anyways, once this baby is loose, the center bolt, we should be able to turn it by hand. But we need to put our Allen on. This Allen needs to go on. See how the tensioner started to wiggle around? That was pretty easy. There you go. This baby is coming out just the way we want. So we do have to reuse the bolts. Okay. There it goes. It's pretty long. A few more turns. And my hand is tired already. Switch up hands. There you go. So I want to take out the socket and the bolt first. And I'm going to just let it sit right here. And our tensioner hopefully has enough clearance to come out somehow, some way. Okay, right here is a good little spot. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my light and the camera. And the tensioner is right there so far. So just turn it around and this baby comes out. And there's the little guy that was making all the noise. So you can change this little guy, but it's all up to you. You could just change the pulley, but why do that when the whole piece comes together? So let's give you a part number, okay, guys? So the part number on this guy is this brand. This one, Gates makes this, and that's the part number on this guy, 39339, made in China. Did I say China? Yep. Oh no, Canada, made in Canada. I was wrong there for first time. Anyways. Make sure the housing is nice and clean. What we're gonna do is This bolt, I'm gonna lubricate the crap out of it just for the heck of it. And time for reinstallation. So what we're gonna do is, first we're gonna send down this tensioner. It sits in that direction just like that, but we can fix that up once it's down there. So let's put this baby in there and just spin it around, and let's get this baby back to its spot, and let's push the bolt in together. Okay, now we're gonna get this bolt to go into the housing, which is the tensioner. That's where it belongs. You have to move it around a bit. You're gonna have to move it around, lift it up a bit. And once it's in there, you should be able to do not cross thread anything. So you're gonna have to play around with this a bit. If you can see the back end, and it only sits in one spot. And once you catch the threads, it's good to go. So that's the hard part, just trying to line and catch the threads. And there we have it. We caught a few threads. So I'm gonna snug this in all the way. All the way. This baby's gonna go all the way till it can't no more, and then we'll tighten it with the tool. I do not have torque specs, so don't expect me to give you guys the torque specs. The computer doesn't give me the torque specs on this particular year. I don't know why. System might need updating. So wiggle it around, make sure everything sits flush. Let me switch hands because this hand is gonna get tired. So I'm gonna leave this alone because it's nice and snugged in, and I'm gonna put some WD-40 on this little guy right here. If you want to put greasing, you know what? Let's put grease instead. So here's a tiny bit slack of grease on this little guy. Grease is better because WD-40 is like water-based. Anyways, after that, we're gonna go down here. We're gonna find the housing where this sits in, and you might have to move the tensioner around. Don't worry, there's no load on this guy, okay? There's no load at this point. And something is bothering me, so I think the tensioner's not all the way. Okay. There you go. So, I still didn't catch the threads to go in. There you go, that's more like it. So we got the threads, and I just want to make sure it's nice and flush before I tighten it. There you go, it's good, it feels good. So, time for me to tighten this baby up. Oops, the wrong way. So you're gonna tighten this all the way, nice and snug. Make sure you do it properly. Don't over tighten it, because you will snap that bolt and then you're in trouble. So this baby is going in nice and smooth. It's halfway in. It's kind of a little rough, but that grease should take care of that issue, so it shouldn't be an issue. So you don't even need to lift this baby to work on this little guy. And this is almost in there. Once it's nice and tight, I'm gonna give it a snug. Okay, we still got like probably 4 threads to go in. Okay, there it is. There it is. And it's nice and tight. We're gonna leave it there. Okay, now I'm gonna get my tool on this little guy. I might have to take it out. Let me take it off. So this is a powerful tool that I have. It's really wrong in leverage, so I don't want to kill this. So take it easy if you're using a long leverage tool. And that's it. Bada bing, bada boom. Okay, no more noise. Smooth. All right, so it's time for me to put the belt on. Okay, it's time to put the belt on. And pretty much, I'm gonna need some good lighting here. So I'm gonna move my light around. So maybe I can put it here so I can see. So it's pretty much, we're gonna send this belt down. You can also see from the bottom, it should be fairly easy. So let's send this belt down. It goes from the crank to compressor, and then from top end of the crank, it comes up. It comes up to be, okay, my light is falling. My light is falling, oh my God. Okay, so on the crank, I'm gonna use this long letter guy here to get this onto the crank. Let's get this guy on the crank first. So from the bottom you can reach, if you get it onto the compressor on this side and maneuver both of them around, that works pretty good. So it's on the crank and it's on the compressor. Now we need to come off this little guy, and the belt does need to go around the water pump, but then it's gonna come off the crank. That's the only issue. But we're gonna have to work some magic. Okay, there you go. So if you need to push, use this long rod and push the belt onto the crank pulley. Once it's on good, make sure it's good on the AC compressor one more time. Okay, so if it's good on the AC compressor, you should be able to pull the belt. And this is the magical part here. This is the magical part. So what I'm gonna do here is, I'm gonna leave my camera right here, light right here. I wanna go get me a 17 millimeter. So this is our 17 millimeters. This is the tricky part. Okay, I'm gonna pull on the tensioner. When you pull on the tensioner, your tensioner is gonna release the tension, and this is where you do the magic work and you let go. Make sure it's good on each pulley. That's how simple that was. Make sure it's good on the crank. It's hard to see, I know it's hard to see, but you gotta make sure it's good on every pulley, especially the compressor and the crank. Up here you can see it all. And so once you double check it, okay, and remember we push this guy. I put this here because it's cold now, but this guy goes back into its spot, so that's what we took off originally. And double check your belt. Should be no more sound on this guy. No more sound. We're gonna test that in a moment.